A lot of people are having a difficult time trying to figure out the concept of strumming. And I understand why. It's because when you strum, it's there's the potential to hurt your finger. I know. I've been there. I've done that. And what can I tell you about it? It gets better, right? So take your time and practice it. One of the most important things when you're strumming is accuracy. Accuracy in hitting the string. That type of velocity, when you strum with that kind of volume, if you hit the wrong part of your nail, or if you hit the wrong part of your finger, that's going to hurt a lot. So I guess the question is, how do we go about avoiding getting hurt? Well, the way we practice accuracy, or the way I practice accuracy, and I would encourage you to do it too, because it encourages accuracy, is to use, number one, the right part of your fingernail. You need to use your nail. Now, a lot of people say, but I don't have nails. I get that. But you don't need long nails to strum. All you need is a nail. You got to have good aim, though. So here's what I would do, right? I would, number one, identify the part of the finger that's going to touch the string. Now, let me show you guys a few mistakes that I see when people strum. Number one mistake is people will strum like this. That is almost all cuticle right there, and that hurts like crazy. That hurts like crazy, especially if I were to use this strum. I'm sorry about the construction in the background. This is just, it is what it is, right? The other way that I see people strum mistakenly is they will use the side of their finger like this. They won't take their wrists all the way out like this. If this were in 3D, that'd be really crazy. They'll keep their wrists natural like this, but just like that when they strum. Now that's good, right? Because it takes away some of the pain and the pressure that you get when you normally strum. But the problem is that your nail eventually starts to disappear on the side of your finger because, well, your nail doesn't have any give. So if that should happen, right, you end up losing your nail. And that is no fun, because once you lose your nail, you're back in the pain game again. And you don't want to be in the pain game. So how do you do it? I've got a Sharpie. And I'm going to draw on my nail. I'm not left-handed, so it might be a little difficult. I'm going to draw on my nail the point where I think that you should be strumming on. Go. As you can see, I'm pretty much in the dead center of the nail. That is where I want to be when I'm strumming. Now, so that means that if I were to always touch the nail to the string in that location, I should never have to worry about hitting the cuticle, right? Right. So, what do we do? How do we do it? How do we practice it? My glasses are crooked and I can't figure out which way because of the camera thing. All right. So, how do we do it? How do we practice this? How do we get accurate? How do we practice accuracy? It's really simple. Don't go through the whole strumming motion. Number one, it takes longer. Number two, it could be painful. Just do this. Take your finger and do the motion that matters the most. This is how you practice accuracy. Eventually, you start speeding it up. If you make a mistake on the cuticle, it doesn't hurt because you're just tapping the top string. Eventually, you're going to get it so good, you're going to be so smooth with it, that you're going to be ready to do this. That motion, that sound, all of it is what you're looking for. That's a strum. A strum is not only meant to sound good, but a strum is also meant to be very rhythmic. You see that? So hearing this sound is really important. The nail hitting the string. Some people will use picks, right? And this is where a lot of you are. You're thinking, well, if I use a pick, my finger won't hurt. Here's the thing, right? The sound of plastic hitting nylon is not the greatest sound. And picks are made out of plastic. The natural nail has a very natural sound to it. It sounds like what I would want to hear, especially with the plastic strings or the nylon strings, my bad. And remember, our closest cousin is the classical guitar. The classical guitar, they don't use picks on the classical guitar. Some people do, but in my opinion, it doesn't sound great. So consider those things. There's also felt picks. Felt picks are very, very muffled sounding, almost like this. There's a place for them. You know, if you're playing that style of music and you want to get that vibe, for sure, it'll work. Let's talk about the actual motion, the physical motion of strumming. You notice that as soon as I start moving my hand, I'm only moving my hand. A lot of you, when you start strumming, what you'll do is you start going like this, start using your whole arm, right? You don't need to go through all of that. The ukulele is not physical exercise. But when you strum, using your wrist, kind of like when you go to the restroom and you wash your hand off and you shake your hand off like that, it's that kind of motion. Just do that. So you're going to put your finger on the top string and get your wrist to follow through, just like this. The area that I'm strumming in is my favorite area of the ukulele. It's where the neck and the body meet. It's right in this area right here. This is the reason why this area sounds so good on the ukulele, is because this is where the strings are at their loosest. Look at the instrument. Back here, the strings are tight. That's going to sound horrible unless you're trying to mimic a banjo or a koto. Up here, again, maybe even more koto-like over there. So where are we going to get our best sound? Our best sound, mellowest sound, I should say. It depends on what you want. If you want to get louder, babe, you can go back by the sound hole. But the mellow sound, the nice, everyday ukulele sound is going to be right in that area over here. This is what I call the sweet spot. Okay? So when you're strumming, you're using your wrist, just like this. Your index finger is touching the top string on the nail, right where that dot is, and you just drop it down, just like that. Eventually, you start getting faster. Remember to take your time, right? This is how you develop this. You gotta take your time. Slow it down. I'm gonna put together another video that's gonna show you how to understand the strumming pattern and when to strum on beat and when to strum off beat, when to do an upstroke and when to do a downstroke. So look out for that one. But before we go today, I just want to say one more thing. I know this is a long video. Make sure that when you're strumming upstrokes, don't get too aggressive. Your upstroke is supposed to be less than the downstroke in most cases, not all cases. But normally when you're strumming, like here's a typical Hawaiian vamp. I'm going to do an A7, D7 to the G6, like this. See how that emphasis is on the downbeat. We don't want to drag our finger across the string when we come back up. It's going to sound like this. Very cluttered. There's a lot of stuff going on. So make sure that when you come back up on the strings, bottom two strings are enough. Watch. See that? Speeding it up. And there you go. guys again soon.